overloaded boat sinks early on Sunday in stormy seas off Italy's southern Calabria region, claiming the lives of at least 62 migrants, including 11 children and a newborn baby, from Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan, officials say. Subscribe to my channel. Like, view, and share, and do not miss to press the bell icon. On Sunday afternoon, Crotone's mayor, Vincenzo Voce, told Sky TG24, as of a few minutes ago, the number of confirmed victims was about 62. According to AG news agency, Crotone's rescue center said that 12 of the 62 victims were children, including a newborn, and 33 were women. The overloaded vessel broke up in violent waves off Crotone, according to the Italian coastguard, and one officer reported that the security forces had detained a suspected people smuggler. An AFP journalist witnessed wooden debris scattered over approximately 100 meters, 328 feet, of beach, where numerous rescuers were deployed. The vessel was carrying more than 200 people, according to rescue workers, according to AFP. According to Regional Governor Roberto Occhiuto, Calabria is in mourning after this terrible tragedy. The government is committed to preventing migrant boat departures and, with them, this type of tragedy, said far-right Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who came to power in October promising to halt the flow of migrants to Italy. According to President Sergio Mattarella, eradicate the causes. Many of these migrants came from Iran and Afghanistan and Pakistan, to escape extremely difficult circumstances. To make a strong commitment to eradicate the causes of these migrations, wars, persecution, barbarianism, poverty, he urged the international community. Rome's government has said that its European Union partners aren't taking in enough migrants trying to get into the bloc. A controversial new law passed this week by Meloni's right-wing coalition government requires migrant aid organizations to carry out only one life-saving rescue mission at a time. By reducing the number of rescue ships that can operate, the measure, according to critics, will increase the number of people who drown in the central Mediterranean, which is regarded as the most dangerous crossing for asylum seekers in Europe. On Sunday, the head of the European Commission and the head of the United Nations urged nations to come to an equitable agreement on how to divide responsibility for people fleeing poverty and conflict for what they hope will be a better life in Europe. According to UN High Commissioner for Refugees Filippo Grandi, time for states to stop arguing, and to agree on just effective, shared measures to avoid more tragedies. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, urged progress on a stalled reform of EU regulations governing the provision of needed asylum. She stated, "We must redouble our efforts on the EU Migration and Asylum Pact and the Central Mediterranean Action Plan." Meloni, leader of the far-right Brothers of Italy party, called it criminal to put a boat of barely 20 meters to sea with 200 people on board and a bad weather forecast, and said he was punished for saving lives. She demanded cooperation from the nations and states where migrants begin their perilous sea journey. From Africa to Italy, a significant number of people attempt to reach European shores by crossing the Mediterranean. This year, nearly 14,000 migrants have arrived in Italy by sea, up from 5,200 during the same time last year, according to the Interior Ministry. Only a small number of migrants are brought ashore by charitable organizations that save those in danger at sea. The majority of those who are saved are rescued by the Navy or Italian coastguard from the perilous waters. Despite this, the government of Meloni has stated that rescue organizations encourage migrants to attempt to cross the border and benefit human traffickers. MSF stated, "It's unacceptable to be punished for saving lives," and added that it was thinking about filing a lawsuit. Carlo Calenda, a centre-right former economy minister, stated on Sunday that people in difficulty at sea should be rescued, whatever the cost, without penalizing those trying to help them. Although it is not yet known what role the princess will play in the festivities, it is anticipated that viewers will see numerous images of Princes William and George, who represent the monarchy's future. As more news are coming, according to them, maybe the numbers could be increase of migrants, including women and children, have lost their lives after their overloaded boat sank in rough seas off the southern coast of Italy. The incident occurred near the city of Crotone, in the Calabria region. Reports indicate that the vessel, which was carrying over 200 people, broke apart in the turbulent waters. Rescue workers recovered the bodies of the victims, while some survivors were taken to hospitals for treatment. The Italian Coast Guard has arrested a suspected people smuggler in connection with the tragedy. The incident has sparked renewed calls for action to address the root causes of migration, and for countries to work together to provide assistance and protection to refugees and migrants. Antonella, who was walking with her friend Maria along the beach on Monday morning, stated, "We are all in shock, we don't really know what to say. The beach resembles a graveyard. The sea is beautiful, but its appearance is misleading." According to police, a Turkish national has been arrested on suspicion of human trafficking. It is believed that the vessel left Turkey 5 days ago. On Monday, Pakistan's Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, stated that more than 24 Pakistanis were thought to have drowned. The boat is also believed to have carried Iranian and Afghan passengers. When contacted for comment, the Afghan Foreign Ministry did not immediately respond. One of the most common landing grounds for individuals attempting to enter Europe by sea is Italy. One of the most dangerous routes in the world is the so-called Central Mediterranean route. Why people fleeing to Europe from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran and Syria? There are several reasons why people from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and Syria are fleeing to Europe. 1. Conflict and violence. These countries have experienced long periods of conflict and violence, which have made living conditions dangerous and difficult for many people. 2. Political instability. Political instability and insecurity in these countries have led to a lack of economic opportunities and poor living conditions, making people seek refuge elsewhere. 3. Economic hardships. Economic hardship and poverty have driven many people to seek better opportunities in Europe. 4. Discrimination and persecution. Some people from these countries may also be fleeing persecution based on their race, ethnicity, religion, or political views. 5. Environmental issues. Climate change and environmental degradation have also led to displacement and migration from these countries. 6 members of the Ahmadiyya community are persecuted in Pakistan, and this may be one reason why some members of this community choose to migrate to other countries. In Pakistan, Ahmadis are considered to be a minority Muslim sect, and they face discrimination and persecution due to their religious beliefs. The Pakistani government has declared Ahmadis to be non-Muslims, and has imposed several restrictions on their religious practices, such as preventing them from calling themselves Muslims, or using Islamic religious terminology. Ahmadis in Pakistan also face social, economic, and political marginalization, and they are often targeted by extremist groups who view them as heretics. They have been subject to violence, harassment, and attacks on their places of worship. Due to this persecution, many Ahmadis have sought asylum in other countries, including Europe, Canada, and the United States. In some cases, Ahmadis have been granted asylum on the basis of their religious persecution in Pakistan. Overall, the persecution of the Ahmadiyya community in Pakistan is a contributing factor to their migration to other countries. Among other asylum seekers, Hindus in Pakistan have been known to flee the country and seek asylum in other countries due to religious persecution and discrimination. Hindus are a minority community in Pakistan and they face various forms of discrimination and persecution, including forced conversions, abductions, and forced marriages. Hindu temples and other religious sites have also been targeted by extremist groups in Pakistan. Due to these factors, many Hindus in Pakistan feel unsafe and insecure, and some choose to leave the country and seek asylum in other countries, such as India or the United States. In some cases, they may be granted asylum on the basis of their persecution in Pakistan. It is important to note that not all Hindus in Pakistan may choose to flee the country, and some may choose to remain and fight for their rights and freedoms. However, the issue of religious persecution and discrimination against Hindus in Pakistan remains a concern. People from Iran and Afghanistan who flee their countries and seek asylum come from various walks of life and backgrounds. Many factors can drive individuals and families to leave their homes and seek safety and protection elsewhere. In Afghanistan, decades of war and conflict have forced many people to flee, including civilians caught in the crossfire, human rights defenders, journalists, and members of minority groups facing persecution. Additionally, poverty, economic instability, and lack of access to education and healthcare are also factors that can lead people to leave the country. In Iran, political repression, discrimination, and persecution of ethnic and religious minorities have led many people to flee the country. Additionally, economic hardship and lack of opportunities are also factors that can drive people to leave. In both countries, refugees and asylum seekers come from various socio-economic backgrounds, including professionals, academics, and skilled workers, as well as those who are less educated or employed in low-wage jobs. Many refugees and asylum seekers also include children and families who are seeking safety and protection from violence and conflict. It is important to note that seeking asylum is a fundamental human right and people should be able to seek safety and protection without fear of persecution or discrimination, regardless of their background or walk of life. Overall, a combination of factors such as conflict, political instability, economic hardship, discrimination, and environmental issues are driving people from these countries to seek refuge in Europe. Filippo Grandi, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, tweeted, "Another terrible shipwreck in the Mediterranean off the Italian coast. Dozens of people have died, many children. We mourn them, and stand in solidarity with the survivors." Subscribe to my channel. Like, view, and share, and do not miss to press the bell icon.